Man! Let's talk about it. So when we think and talk about plastic surgery on the streets, we mainly are talking about women, right? Male patients make up only about 10% of all plastic surgical patients. So let's answer the question, what are the men's getting done? And how do we feel about what the men's are getting done? Should men be having plastic surgery for cosmetic reasons? In 2023, according to the stats, there were 5 surgeries that men got more than others. In this order, they are gynecomastia repair, with 24,000 men roughly getting this operation in 2023. Liposuction, with about 21,000 men getting this operation. Blepharoplasty or eyelid surgery, with about 16,000 men getting this done. Rhinoplasty or a nose job, with about 7,000 men getting this done. And lastly, facelift, with about 6,000 male patients. Now, that's just surgery alone. If we look at non-invasive cosmetic procedures, then we're looking at much higher numbers. The top 3 were Botox and other what we call neuromodulators to fix wrinkles, with nearly 600,000 men having this done. Laser, with about 700,000 men having this done for one reason or another, both for things like skin rejuvenation and for things like laser hair removal or even tattoo removal. And then lastly, fillers. Nearly 150,000 men had hyaluronic acid fillers. So it doesn't include things like radius that sometimes people can use along their jawline to get that strong male jaw. So it's happening. Men are having this done. Now, as I talked about in previous videos, we have lifted the veil and also the stigma a little bit on plastic surgery. More people than ever are aware of what kinds of procedures are done by a plastic surgeon, and more people than ever are also vocal about what they have had done. And so it's no surprise that we're seeing an increase, not a decrease, in men joining the fray. So now the question becomes, should men get plastic surgery for cosmetic reasons? Remember that there are always reconstructive reasons for why a person would undergo plastic surgery, but for cosmetic reasons, should men be getting cosmetic plastic surgery? So I rarely have strong opinions. And on this, I really don't have a strong opinion. No, I think the answer is why not? Why can't men get plastic surgery for cosmetic reasons? They are just as prone as women to having insecurities, things they want to judge, things that make them feel like they can move about in the world a little bit better. So why shouldn't they? Well, I think some people would argue that men have not historically been judged by how they look. Not historically. We may clown some men today about how they look, but historically, men were judged by their ability to protect and provide. If we go back all the way to caveman days, they literally were judged by how well they brought home meat. How well did they kill for their family so that their family could eat? And so the determinants for a good mate as a woman were historically about looking for men with strength or surrogates of strength. Height being one, build being one. For women, the determinants have always been about the proximity to youth, right? Young women are fertile and can produce and populate the earth. But for men, it's again about the ability to provide and protect. So if we're not, or historically have not been judging them from a visual standpoint and more of a functional standpoint, then with that argument, should men be as concerned with their looks as women? Does that jive with what we consider masculine in this society? Because even though we've evolved and we've become modern in our standards and relaxed in some of the gender roles that we have and ascribe to others, the ability for men to provide and protect is still an ability that we still hold very much dear and near to our heart. Look at recent TikTok trends just to let you know how important it is. We have trad housewife, the new trad housewife movement. And then women proclaiming that they're living their soft lives. Well, their soft lives depend on someone else's hard labor, right? So again, we're judging men from a functional standpoint. What can they do? How can they bring peace, joy, love, protection, provision to our lives? So if that's the case, then should a man get plastic surgery? So that's not necessarily for me to answer because I'm not a man. And again, I rarely have strong opinions on things that don't affect me personally. But think about it. If it were your man who were going under the knife for a cosmetic reason, how would you feel? For a facelift, for a rhinoplasty, for hair plugs and turkey maybe? Now, think about two of the more recent trends that have come up in male plastic surgery. One of those is high definition liposuction, which is just liposuction to the nth degree. It still removes fat, but it removes even more fat and helps to kind of etch the muscles by more clearly revealing them. And so what you get is truly men that look like they've been in the gym for hours with a little help of their plastic surgeon. And then also think about the male version of the BBL. And then ask yourself that question again. If you're a man, were to say get a male BBL or opt for high def lipo, would your opinion of male plastic surgery change? For me, the answer is still no. Again, there are men who are human beings. All men are human beings, right? And we all have our little insecurities. And for those of you shouting, the fraud, think about all the women who get lip fillers, eyelashes, BBLs, and everything else to present themselves in a different way when they step out into the world. And so we aren't shouting the fraud to women who significantly change their bodies with lipo and fat grafting, then we really have no place to shout the fraud with men who do the same. And so the deception, I think, is equal opportunity. But really, is it deception? Or is it just presenting yourself to the world in a different way? I think some people would argue that those are basically saying the same thing. That if I significantly change my face or my body and present myself differently, then what I'm advertising is truly not what I am, right? And if I marry a guy or I marry a woman because of what I see as their representation of self after their operation, then boy am I in for a treat when we have kids. It's a really sensitive topic. It's hard for me to even discuss because of how much I know that people genuinely want to live in their true selves and live in the bodies that they picture in their minds for themselves. And when we have access to safe surgery, how can I, as a plastic surgeon, say that people shouldn't have cosmetic surgery? I can't. That would be disingenuous on my part. Truly, I think people should live and let live. And to an extent, do what makes them feel whole and happy. Are there limits to this? Always, right? So 1 or 2 things, again, I think is within reason. 4, 5, 6, 7 things might be true body dysmorphia that someone needs to see a psychiatrist and not a plastic surgeon to address. But again, the answer shouldn't change whether we talk about a little Botox or a little BBL. Masculinity is not connected to how natural a man is without enhancements, nor is femininity tied up in how natural a woman is without enhancements. And so, if you don't judge women for getting BBLs, maybe you should, because some of those BBLs look ridiculous. But if you don't judge women for getting a rhinoplasty or facelift, then let's not judge men for the same thing. That's just my 2 cents. What do you think? Leave your comments and questions below, and subscribe. As always, love you lots, and bye for now.